Some men don't play the game. They don't chase, they don't fight, they don't even care enough to rebel. They simply walk away. Talesverser, that's the essence of the Zeta archetype. A figure who refuses the stage, the script, and even the applause. And in a world that feeds on attention, that silence is the loudest rebellion. The Zeta is not an alpha chasing dominance, nor a beta begging for approval. They're not gamma intellectuals arguing on the sidelines, nor sigma lone wolves secretly proud of their independence. The Zeta doesn't want the throne, doesn't want the tribe, and doesn't even want to prove they don't care. They simply withdraw from the entire social contract. It's a figure both feared and mocked. Because when someone stops playing the game itself starts to look ridiculous. People secretly admire the Zeta because they represent a freedom most will never taste. No pressure to impress, no hunger for validation. The Zeta's detachment exposes just how much others are enslaved by wanting. And that's why society quietly resents them. They remind people of their own cages. Zeta isn't a victory march. It's often born from wounds. Many Zetas are men who've been burned by failed relationships, betrayal, or a system they believe was rigged against them. They didn't just wake up enlightened. They retreated because the battlefield was covered in their own blood. When the world no longer matters, neither does connection, growth, or even joy, the Zeta risks not just escaping the game, but abandoning life itself. How can anyone recognize a Zeta, even without knowing the term? Look closer. They don't argue about status, they dismiss the entire conversation. They won't fight for attention, because they see attention as a cheap currency. They don't react to shaming tactics. Social pressure bounces off them like pebbles against concrete. For outsiders, it looks like strength. For the Zeta, it feels like survival. Understanding the Zeta archetype isn't about glorifying or condemning it. It's about realizing what it exposes. The alpha needs followers. The beta needs approval. The sigma still needs recognition for being different. But the Zeta? They show the terrifying possibility of not needing any of it. That's why people need to know about them. Because the Zeta is both a warning and a mirror. A warning of how pain can turn into indifference, and a mirror reflecting how fragile society's games truly are. Think of Diogenes, the Greek cynic philosopher. He lived in a barrel, mocked Alexander the Great, and rejected society's standards outright. He didn't call himself Zeta, but the spirit was the same. Stepping outside of the system and refusing its rules. Figures like him remind us that the Zeta is not new. Every age has produced people who refused the script and forced others to question why they ever believed in it. Talesverser, the Zeta archetype is not a hero, not a villain, not even a player. It's the shadow that appears when the spotlight becomes unbearable. Some see them as cowards, others see them as free. But one thing is certain, when someone stops needing the game loses its power. Maybe that's why society fears them most. Not because they're dangerous, but because they prove people were never free to begin with. And that's a wrap, my dear friends. Thanks for hanging out with me. Until next time, stay awesome.